Welcome, fellow bookworms, to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney, and today we have another round of Winnie the Pooh Hunny, which is a bingo mini game that I'm going to be playing each month just to kind of help guide my reads for at least a week out of the month. And so we did play this in February. This is kind of where the board got left at. So we're really close to a bingo here in this Y column, and then this bottom row we're 2 away from a bingo as well. I'm going to attempt to go for 2 bingos, but I'd be happy if I got one, or honey rather. I'd be happy if I got one honey, but I'm hoping for 2 this round. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. I did, last round in February was kind of a hot mess. It was my first time playing it. February is kind of a weird month for me. I was really struggling getting into my reads and everything. So I have made a couple changes. So originally I was going to do 48 hours. I quickly realized that's not for me. Even when I'm feeling good, that's not going to be for me. So last round I did just over 2 weeks. This round I'm aiming for a week, but I might add on a couple days. Just because on the weekends I want to relax and spend time with my husband, not necessarily reading. A lot of times we play WoW and such, which is World of Warcraft for those who don't know. And so if that's the case, like if I read, I won't add on a day for Saturday or Sunday. But if I don't, then I'll add it on a day. So it's Monday, March 4th, and it's the evening because I did start a book over the weekend, and I needed to finish it today. I didn't want to start while I was in the middle of this book. So it's about 4:30 right now in the evening. So I will go through bedtime on Monday, and then if I don't read Saturday or Sunday, I am going to go ahead and add Tuesday and Wednesday. It just depends on how the weekend plays out. So I want a full 7 days of actual reading. And so it just depends on what Saturday and Sunday look like for me. I'm also not using the dice anymore, or the die anymore. I'm going to be using these papers here. And so I'll be picking out of this mug, which was a gift from one of the veterinarians I worked with one Christmas. Her husband was a potter, and so this was a gift, but it's cracked, so I can't drink out of it. And it does kind of look like a little honey jar, so I figured that would work perfect. I already pulled out the letters that I had from last round from February. And so they're already pulled out, so you can see each one has the column, whatever letter it is, and then it has a number associated with it. But this way I won't have to keep re-rolling if it's something I've already marked off. The other thing I want to mention before we get into it is I do have 2 rollovers that I didn't even touch in February. And so we have Shogun by James Clavell, which has been rolling over since October. And I have just over 400 pages left to go. And then I also have the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer, which I have a long way to go in this one. I think I still have like 500 something pages to go in this one. And so these I can choose for one of the prompts, but if I choose it, then I have to finish it. But that way it might prompt me to really focus on this. That won't be very strategic because these are slow reading for me, but at least then I can maybe focus on it. Especially I'm in particular thinking of Shogun for this, like, because there's only 400 pages and I think I could really push and do it. So we'll just have to see. So let's go ahead and pull my first prompt from the mug here, and we'll just see what we get. So kind of swirl them around. I'm not looking. I'm gonna go with this one. And so I folded it so the letters aren't on the inside. So we have N1. So since there's 2 N's, I have N1 and N2. And this one is great because it's N15, which is the bottom row, which is where we're really close to getting our honey. And so this one, N1, is a series read. I don't know how well you can see that. So I'm going to go look at my TBR and see what I have that's part of a series, and I'll be right back with my choice. All right, I got some options here, so I'm really happy with that because now we're 1 away from a bingo here, or a Hunny, and we're one away from a Hunny up here as well. So that's looking good for the week. Like, we're getting some good options. So there were 5, 6, 7 choices I could go with. I pulled 3. Shogun, I think, is part of like a series. Yeah, the Asian saga, but it's the first night, so I'm not putting that on right now. And I did read a little bit last night. And then one of them is extra long. I'm not ready for it. The other one's extra short. I kind of want to save it. And so one of them's a digital. Again, I want to save that. So first up, we have Ruby Dixon, Barbarian's Touch, which is one of the Ice Planet Barbarian books. And these are such easy reads. This would be a great one to go with. Basically, if you're not familiar, these women are sex trafficked by aliens, and there's trouble with the ship, so they get dropped on this planet. And there's these big blue guys who are kind of a struggling race, and to live on this planet, they have to take in the symbiote life force that helps them live on the planet, but that resonates to their mate. And so it's, alien smutty romance is what it is, but it's really pretty enjoyable. Come on, Freezy. There she goes. She was nervous because there's some books. She didn't want to knock them. She's a good girl. This is Anna Freeze if you're new here. Her name's Anya. We call her Anna Freeze. But anyway, so this would be a great option because it's really quick. It would be a great start to the week. I also have The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. I read The Prison Healer and really, really enjoyed it. The ending really stuck with me. Basically, you have this prison healer and she's in a prison, obviously, and this rebel queen gets brought to the prison, and she's tasked with keeping this rebel queen alive so she can face this elemental trials. And there's also elemental magic like within the royal bloodline. And the way it ended, like, I'm really intrigued to see where it goes from there. So this would be a great option. And it was a fairly quick read as well. So that would be one. And then the other one is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. This is childhood copy, so it's very wonky, very messy, dust jackets falling apart. Again, easy read, even though it's a chunker. And this would be a great one because then I can knock off one of my big books right off the bat. And this is, of course, the 4th one in the Harry Potter series. So now I just gotta say, I think I'm gonna save The Gilded Cage. I'm not really ready for it. That'd be a good mid-month book. So I'm gonna save that. And I'm going to Vegas with my mom, sisters, and nieces. It's always been a dream of my mom's to, when my oldest sister's 3 daughters were old enough, that all of us would go to Vegas together. And my youngest niece from her just turned 21. And so we're all going the week of the 18th. So I was considering bringing this one there because it would be a quick, easy. So I think I'm going to hold off on that. And I think I am going to go with Harry Potter because, like I said, even though it's so chunky, these read really, really quickly. And it would knock off a big chunky book off my TBR right off the bat. So that's what I'm going to go with, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And I'm assuming you know what Harry Potter is about. But just in case, you basically have Harry Potter and he's a wizard, and there's like this dark wizard that was rising to power when Harry was a baby, ends up killing Harry Potter's parents, and he lives. And so when he turns 11, he gets this letter and he goes to Hogwarts, which is a magical school, and teaching him all about becoming a wizard. And in this one, there is a Tri-Wizard tournament with 2 other schools. And yeah, really looking forward to this. So that's my choice. I will check back in once I finish it. Obviously, not going to be tonight, no way. But I'm hoping I can read it tonight and get it read tomorrow. And then either be back with you guys tomorrow night. or first thing on Wednesday the 6th. So we'll just have to see. Like I said, today's Monday the 4th, about 4:30. So that's my pick, and I'm going to get to reading, and I'll see you in just a minute. All right, I am back. It is Wednesday the 6th of March, and it's about 11 a.m., I want to say, roughly around there, and I finished Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It took me all day yesterday. I stayed up late and everything, so I only read about 60 pages on Monday, just a little over 60 pages on Monday, and then it took me all day yesterday, stayed up late. I ended up, since I was reading Harry Potter, it's kind of a nostalgic, cozy read for me. I participate in Kim's From Expedition Through Pages, her Tales from Two Trails game, and the cat just knocked over some books. She's so nice like that. Anyway, I participate in that, and there was a challenge this month, and it was to have a cozy reading night. And one thing I really like to do that I don't do very often anymore is stay up late and read. Since I've gotten older, I've tried to be more consistent at having a regular bedtime and such. So unless I'm really, really struggling with insomnia, I typically try not to do that anymore. But I decided to go ahead and do my cozy reading challenge last night since I was working on Harry Potter. Had my husband bring me a coffee and a coffee cake from town when he came home from work. He forgot to say decaf though, so that didn't help because I already struggle with insomnia. But I really enjoyed it and sat and had that, had chopped on the TV and read this. So I had only 200 pages left, and I finished that this morning. And I stayed up till 3 a.m. And then I woke up when my husband was leaving for work, so sometime between like 6:37. And yeah, so I couldn't remember. I knew I didn't like the last one, the third one in the series. But I was trying to remember which one had the spew, which is the welfare of the house elves and such that Hermione does, and it's this one. And it really wasn't as prevalent or as bad as I remember it from reading these books when I was a kid. So the movie's my favorite, and I think this one's going to be my favorite book as well. I'll just have to see based on the others. I really like this one because I think the plot's a little bit better written. It's not so, Dark Lord, should not be named focused until the end. Like, it's about the tournament, and it's really, really fun. So yeah, I'm gonna give this 5 stars because I really enjoyed it. But it's funny, this is my childhood copy, and I watched this librarian on TikTok, and she repairs a lot of books. And the whole time I was reading, I was like, I wish I could have her repair this one. You can see it is completely disconnecting. That's disconnecting. Like, this is my childhood copy, so it's definitely well read. It's like I wish I could just take that to her to repair it because this is in rough shape. Here's the dust jacket. You can see like the spine of the dust jacket is completely ripped. Like, it's just a mess. But yeah, really happy that I did go ahead and go with that. Even though it was a chunky book, so it took me a little longer to read, I was happy I was able to get it done in good time today. My goal was to have another book for Wednesday because I knew, it was late Monday night. I wasn't going to finish it at all, and I figured it would take me the whole day, if not most of the day, Wednesday or a little over. So I'm really pleased with that. Of course, you just saw this, but this is where the board is now, so we're really close down in this bottom row. So if we get U5, that'd be good, or Y1, we'll get our first Hunny, which I'm really hoping for this round. And so yeah, there's nothing left to do but to choose our letters. So we have all the letters I've already pulled in here. That will go off to the side, and then we have our Hunny mug. And so we'll just flip those around and let's see which one we're gonna get. Kind of look away. I'm gonna do this one. So I see a 3, which doesn't help us, but let's see where it is at. So we have H3, which is going to be, okay, so we're in the H column here, and so 1, 2, 3, and that is audio or digital book. Now, I'm about 100 pages into a digital book, and I think I might be kind to myself and finish that one. That is 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews. That was actually for Autism Reads from last month that I didn't get to. And then I started it like on the first day of March, but like I said, I only read about 110 pages. It's only 200 and something pages, so I don't have a lot left to go. But there's also the other read for Autism Reads for this month, which is Ways to Be Me by Libby Scott and Rebecca Westcott. And so I could read that as well, and I might go ahead and just knock both of those out of the way, since I am part of the way through that first one. I definitely at least want to finish that one before I read the other one. And the other one's a middle grade, so it should go really, really quickly as well. So I'm thinking I can get both of those read, and then get another book today, even so. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go with both of them. I'm at least gonna read the first one, and then we'll just kind of see what time it is and how I'm feeling. If I felt like, that was a good chunk of reading, I might just go ahead and go on to the next pick on here. But if I felt like it really wasn't that much reading, I'll probably go ahead and read that other Autism Reads. And Autism Reads is put on by Christine at An Autistic Reader. Of course, their channel will be linked down below. There's a Discord and everything. And this year we're focusing on authors who have been confirmed as being autistic. So that's really fun. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get something to eat. I haven't eaten yet today. And so I'm going to kind of have a brunch situation going on. And then I will go ahead and check back in when I am done reading. All right, I am back. It is just after 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. on Wednesday, March 6th, so still the same day. And I did finish reading 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews. I'm going to go ahead and count it. I know I was a little on the fence whether I wanted to finish it and then read the other one, but I still had almost 60% of the book to go. And so since the bulk of the book I still had to go, I'm going to go ahead and count it. It ended up being like 170 something pages, I want to say. So I'm going to count it, and I do want to keep the other digital book for when I'm in Vegas, just so I have a digital option. Because if we're out somewhere and I'm not going to listen to an audiobook if we're out somewhere, and I don't really like carrying a physical book around. So I'm going to save the other one. But yeah, basically I didn't tell you guys what it was about when I chose it, but 1,000 Perfect Notes, you basically have Beck, and he's 15, maybe 16. I think he's 15, not quite 16. And then his little 5-year-old sister, and his mother was a famous pianist, and she's kind of had a stroke and can't play anymore, and so she's puts a lot of pressure on Beck to play the piano and such. It does deal with child abuse, so definitely keep that in mind. Like physical abuse, that was very prevalent throughout. And it definitely is a little bit darker, but I absolutely loved it. I love the way it was written, the way it was laid out. It's written by an autistic author. Like I mentioned, it's for Autism Reads. It was last month's pick in February, put on by Christine at An Autistic Reader. And I really, really enjoyed this one. So it's YA, but yeah, it's basically his mother putting pressure on him. And then he's just trying to protect his little sister. And I really, really liked it. I like I said, the pacing, the way it was written, it was, kind of the thoughts in Beck's head. And I really liked how it was laid out. And then his kind of a coming of age, so like his first love and everything. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It's 5 stars for me. So now I want to go ahead and choose my next book to read this evening. And of course, depending on what it is, hopefully I can get most of it read, if not all of it. But otherwise it'll be this evening and then in tomorrow. But again, I know I do this every time, but this is where the board's sitting at. So we need one more here, one more here, and now we're 2, or just 1 because that's the free space. So we just need 1 more here as well. So we're really getting close to a honey, and I would actually really like this one under the second N2 number 3, because that's a middle grades or children, and I can definitely get whatever is finished tonight, and I would get my first honey. And so yeah, I'm rooting for that one, but we'll just have to see what I get. So let's go ahead. These are the ones that are already pulled. And so we now have our mug, and I go ahead and just swish it around, and then I'm not looking, go with this one. So it has a 4, so we're not going to get the middle grades or children. So we have U4, which, oh, if only it could have been U5, that's the one we needed. So we have this U column right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, this one right here. And so that is Goodreads or Storygraph, which means I'm going to go on those platforms, and I'm going to try to see if one of the books that are on my TBR are on one of those platforms, but we'll just have to see. So that's going to take me a minute. I'm going to look, and I'll be right back once I have my choice. All right, well, that was kind of rough. Definitely nothing that's on my current TBR. I did see Outlander on, I don't remember whether it was Goodreads or Storygraph. And I do have the second one to read, but I definitely don't want to do that this week because I'm giving myself 2 months for that, so that's not a wise choice. And other than that, there was nothing that's on my actual TBR. I did see I have 2 audiobooks that I'm highly anticipating and I'm excited for. One is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherworlds by Heather Fawcett, and the other one is The Butcher and the Blackbird or something like that, and I forget the author's name, but of course it'll be right here. So I considered those 2, but I'm not really in the mood for an audiobook right now. And so I have 3 other options that I found that I am interested in. The first one I'm already gonna put aside. I don't know why I picked it up, but that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is a little bit more dense. How many pages is this? I mean, it's not huge, but it's definitely not tiny. It looks like it's over 500 pages. And since it's an extra book, I definitely don't want to go with a chunky book. So that leaves me with 2 options. The first one that I saw pop up is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. And this is one I am very, very interested in. And it would be nice just to kind of have a fun, light romance. So that's definitely an option. And the other one is a children's book, so it would be really nice because I could read this really quickly. And that's Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. Pictures by Garth Williams. So these are kind of what we're working with. So it's just whether I want, both are going to be easy. Romance, which, you know, these types of romances are really quick and easy to read, or children's. And I just got to decide what I'm in the mood for. Um, hmm. That is the question, isn't it? I don't think I've ever actually read Charlotte's Web. I've seen, the movie and enjoyed the movie when I was growing up. But I don't know that I ever actually read the book or not. And so, you know what? I want to kind of get down my overall TBR. This is a book I collected because it's a childhood classic. So even once I read it, it's not something I'm planning on getting rid of or anything like that. So I'm gonna not go with that one. And I'm actually gonna go with The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. So this says Florence Day is a ghostwriter for one of the most prolific romance authors in the industry, and she has a problem. After a terrible breakup, she no longer believes in love. It's as good as dead. When her new editor, a too handsome mountain of a man, won't give her an extension on her book deadline, Florence prepares to kiss her career goodbye. But then she gets a phone call she never wanted to receive, and she must return home for the first time in a decade to help her family bury her beloved father. For 10 years she run from the town that never understood her. And even though she misses the sounds of a warm southern night and her eccentric, loving family and their funeral parlor, she can't bring herself to stay. Her father's gone, yet everything else feels the same, and she hates it. Until she finds a ghost standing at the funeral parlor's front door, just as broad and infuriatingly handsome as ever, and he's just as confused about why he's there as she is. Romance is most certainly dead, but so is her new editor, and his unfinished business will have her second guessing everything she's ever known about love stories. So, yeah, this is what I'm going with. I actually might be able to get this read tonight, honestly. Like, I don't see that would be a problem. And if I don't, I'll definitely be able to finish it in good time tomorrow and get another book picked out. So this is what I'm going with, and I'll read it and then I'll be right back with you. Alright, it is about just after 6 p.m. on Thursday, March 7th, and I did finish The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Decided to go to bed at a decent hour last night, and then just this morning kind of got away from me, so I didn't even start this till this afternoon. But this would have been 5 stars for me. I loved pretty much everything about it. I really like the premise of it. So you have this ghost writer and she can see ghosts, and then her editor ends up being a ghost. And so it's a very, very like slow burn romance. And then she's also dealing with grief, and I really, really love that aspect of it. Unfortunately, this author uses a lot of pop culture references in this book, which is a pet peeve of mine. And honestly, especially in the beginning, she, even if it wasn't a pet peeve of mine, like really went overboard with the pop culture references. I'm not kidding. I almost DNF'd it like after the first 25 pages because I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I can't do all these pop culture references. It's definitely a pet peeve of mine, and it was really, really overboard. It did smooth out, but there was definitely moments, and some of them worked. Like, there was one time there's an officer named Saget, and he's like, "Who, Bob?" And I kind of got a chuckle out of that. There's like an Elvis impersonator in here, and so like things like that worked, but definitely went a little bit overboard, and it's already a pet peeve of mine. So I almost DNF'd it. Then I was like, well, I can probably get through it, so it'll probably just be like a 2-star. And if it wasn't for that, though, it would have been 5 stars. I cried so much during this book, like all throughout, because it does deal with that grief. So yeah, I'm gonna settle on 4 stars, just because I can't give it a full 5 stars with all those pop culture references, but I enjoyed the rest of it so much, so it's gonna be 4 stars. I don't know if I'll pick up more from this author or not, except I really, really liked like the premise and the characters, and the rest of the writing I enjoyed. It was just that it really got under my skin. Anyway, done with that. So we're looking good there. I need to pick my next book for tonight, and probably, unless it's one of like the really short ones over there, most likely I'll be reading it tonight and tomorrow. But this is where the board is sitting. So we have 3 chances for bingo. We have this one here, and this one here. We'll probably get something completely off the wall, but let's go ahead and see what we're gonna get. Put that down. We got our papers here. Go ahead and let's go for this one. So let's see here. It looks like a 2, which definitely doesn't help us out anywhere. So it's gonna be H2. So that is going to be here, and that is book for something you are participating in. So I do have some options here, and I just gotta decide which I'm gonna go for. So I'm gonna go take a look at my books, and I'll be right back. Alright, I have 4 different options. There's also a 5th option, but 1, I don't have the book yet. It's still on its way to me. And 2, it's part of the Start and Stop Buddy Read. And so you read a set amount and then you stop. I'm going to be out of town the week that everybody's reading it. So I'm going to have to read it a different time anyway, but it definitely doesn't work for, trying to get a bingo, because I'm going to have to read it slowly. So that one's off the board anyway. The other one I'm thinking of is for autism reads. I have it digitally, so it's Ways to Be Me by Libby Scott and Rebecca Westcott. It is a middle grade, so that one would definitely read really, really quickly. That's a great option, but again, it's the only other digital book I have, and as I mentioned when I read 1,000 Perfect Notes, I want to save that one for when I am in Vegas. If we're out somewhere and I just need something, I can just pull it up. So I'm not going to choose that one. So we have 3 different options here. The first one is Barbarian's Touch by Ruby Dixon. These are such fun, quick reads, so that's a good option. But again, this was another one I was considering taking to Vegas, so I don't know if I'll go with that one. This one just came today, and that I forgot, these 3 that I'm going to mention are for Tales from Two Trails. These fulfill the 3 different prompts. This one is for multiple point of views because there's always multiple point of views in this book, so it was an easy one to put for that slot for that, knowing, that they always have multiple point of views. So there's that one. Then we have the group read for Tales from Two Trails, and that's put on by Kim at Expedition Through Pages. Autism Reads is Christine at An Autistic Reader. And then the Start and Stop Buddy Read is Allison at Allison on a Book Break. So anyway, so the group read for Tales from Two Trails is Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi, sorry. And this one, like I said, it's a group read, and it also works for the prompt. She got a random animal, and we got a fire-bellied toad, and so this definitely works for like the fire aspect. So this one, you have 2 sisters who are born in different villages, each unaware of the other. One will marry an Englishman and lead a life of comfort in a palatial rooms of Cape Coast Castle. The other will be captured in a raid in her village and imprisoned in the very same castle and sold into slavery. So that's an option. I just don't know if I want like a heavier read right now. So think about that. And then the last one is for either author surname or book starts with the letter M. And so I'm going to go with the Babysitters Club Super Special number 3, Babysitters Winter Vacation by Anne M. Martin. So yeah, and that's, like I said, for that prompt. So it's between these 2. Like I said, I want to save this one for Vegas probably because it's going to be quick and easy. So if everybody's talking, it's not going to take a lot of brain power. So it's between these 2. So I could either do one that's a little bit heavier, or I can go with this one. And this one I'd be able to finish tonight. So I'm leaning more towards this one. And this one's part of my game TBR too, so it'd be nice to knock that off. So yeah, I think I am going to go with this one. So I'm going to go with Babysitters Winter Vacation. We're getting into spring now, but it's still like today's a little chill. There's a little chill in the air, in the wind. So I think I'm going to go with this. And yeah, they're basically every year Stony Brook Middle School, the whole school gets invited to Lancaster Lodge in Vermont for a week of winter adventure. The trip sure isn't like any other. A busload of little kids unexpectedly needs babysitters. Mary Ann uncovers a ghost in the lodge. Claudia and Stacy both fall in love with handsome French skiers. Christy is helping her team win the winter war. Like California Dawn can barely stand up in her skates. But if it doesn't stop snowing, SMS may be snowbound until spring. So that's what I'm going to go with. And I might check in and pick my next read tonight, or I might just relax, read this, and get my next read first thing in the morning. But for you guys, it'll be just a moment. All right, it is Friday, March 8th, about 7 o'clock in the morning. And I did, of course, read the Babysitters Club, Babysitters Winter Vacation by Anna Martin last night. I only gave this a 2 stars. It was a bit disappointing. So basically, the whole middle school goes to this lodge every winter. It's a mandatory trip, which is a little bit weird. But, whatever. So they go to this lodge, and you're following the 7 different Babysitter Club members as they're doing different things. So there's like this winter war, which is a big competition. So some of them are there. The one girl gets a crush, and so she's with her crush. Another girl gets a crush on her ski instructor, so there's that. Mary Ann's kind of the overall like main narrator of it, and she's basically collecting this letter. So even though I got the multiple viewpoints, like she starts and kind of ends it. And she misses Logan, her boyfriend, and so she's like all there in her head. There's a bus full of elementary school kids that their bus crashes, and then the teachers are injured, so they need babysitters. And that was all fine. I mean, it was kind of a slog to get through. It's definitely dated. Like, there was one kid that was asthmatic, and they're kind of making fun of him, which is surprising because she definitely tried to add diversity. Like, Jessie is black, and then you have Stacy who has diabetes, and then you have all these different personalities. But, she's making fun of these kids. This is another one that has a lot of pop culture references, which, I already said with this one how I do not like that at all. And this is another one. I was thinking I'd get away with that with a middle grade, but no. But the pop culture references don't even make sense in this one. Like, these are middle school kids, and she's talking about The Shining from Stephen King, and then there's a I Love Lucy reference in here, and I'm like, this was written in 1989. They're middle schoolers. Like, I guess they could be watching, but it was like in reference to the whole group. And it's like, they wouldn't know what I Love Lucy was. Like, maybe if it was closer to the time period and they're watching with their parents or something, but I'm just like, that doesn't make sense either. So just some off references. The editing in this was not good. There was a couple times. One that stands out, it was like talking about how many kids there were, and it said pretty many kids. And I'm like pretty, Pretty, many, Many, kids. And I'm like, it did not make sense. And there was another one where the words were kind of jumbled like that. Like there was a word that just didn't make sense in the sentence. And she used to be a children's book editor. I'm like, well, she didn't edit her own book. And this is a popular series. You think the editing would be better. So it wasn't like typos and such. It was like words that completely did not go in the sentence. And I was like, I don't know. So anyway, I only gave it 2 stars. It was fine. I've been collecting them, so I'm definitely going to start like the series at some point. And I'm hoping like the main series might be a little bit better. They're probably still dated and everything. But I'm hoping maybe there wasn't a lot of pop culture references, but like I said, some of them just did not make sense at all for this age range and the time it was written in. So, I don't know. It got 2 stars. I got it read. It was a quick read for last night. And so, yeah, nothing left to do but pick our next read. And of course, this is where we're left at the board. Is so frustrating. I have 3 spots I can get a bingo, and I've been picking stuff all around them. So we still have this spot, we have that spot, and this spot here. And yeah, we're getting closer, so yeah, we'll just have to see what we get. I'm a little worried I'm gonna get something up here because I haven't gotten anything up there yet. So but yeah, let's go ahead and get our little honey mug here and see what we're gonna get today. I really want a bingo. I was hoping to get 2 bingos or honeys. So let's go with this. Kind of stuck together. Go with this one here. So this one is the top one. So hopefully it's H. Oh, the glue came off. Nope. So it's N1, and you can see row 1. So we have that up here, and that is a standalone. So I'm gonna have to go see what I have on my shelf or my TBR and pick one of those to read. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I have 3 different options. I think I know what I'm going to go with though. But that definitely did not get us any closer to a honey. I mean, it got us a little bit because I just now need 2 more on this column instead of 3. But really, that didn't help us out at all. It's so frustrating. I'm so close in so many spots and I'm just not even going anywhere near them. But that's okay. So this was to read a standalone. I actually had several on my TBR. There's 3 more over there that I'm not even interested in right now. So, and then I have 3 choices. So again, we could read Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. That's an option, and that would help me with Tales from Two Trails. so that would be really good to get read. We also have Irish Johansson, Dark Summer. This is an author that I really enjoy her like suspense books. Um, and this is a standalone, so that's an option that I could get read. And then the other one is Thistlefoot by GennaRose Nethercott. This has been on my TBR before, and I just never got to it, so I would really like to get to this one. Off the short list, I'm going to go ahead and take off Dark Summer. It's short. I know I enjoy the author. It'll be a great one for the end of the month or to take to Vegas, so that one's off the short list. So it comes down between these two. This would be the smarter choice, but this is the one I kind of want to read. So, I think I am gonna go with Thistlefoot. You know, it's one of the longer books on my TBR, and it is a TBR fail, so I would really like to read this. And this is one I'm really, really interested in. So basically, you have the Yaga siblings, and they end up inheriting this house, which they've kind of been a little bit estranged from each other. So that kind of brings them back together. But there's also this sinister man following them, and then it talks about Baba Yaga, the house's original inherited. And so, yeah, it's just kind of this adventure, and it's based off of Baba Yaga, and so you have this house on chicken eggs. So this is definitely one I've been really, really interested in. And like I said, it is one of the longer ones. It's over 400 pages, so it'll be nice to get another long one off my list, and save some of these shorter ones for later. So that's what I'm going to be reading, and of course I will check back in as soon as I'm done. And hopefully it's Friday, so I'm hoping I can get most, if not all of this read and pick a book for the weekend. I know Saturday we're going to do some like yard work and such, so that's going to take part of the day. And then we'll probably play World of Warcraft. So like I said, I'm most likely going to add on Tuesday and Wednesday to this just so I get the full 7 days of full reading. And more chances to hopefully hit a bingo since it's not being very nice to me. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. I'm hoping this will be a quicker read, but we don't know until we dive in. So I will be back with you guys in just a second. Alright, it is about 1 o'clock on Monday, the 11th of March. I have not finished Thistlefoot yet. I'm about halfway through. I have just over 200 pages left to read. I read about 100 pages on Friday and then roughly 50 pages each on Saturday and Sunday. So I am still working on this. However, I did want to go ahead and choose my next book before I kind of settle in to read. Friday I just wasn't really feeling like reading very much. And Saturday, I was getting the car all cleaned out and ready to go because my aunt's now coming, and so my mom and my aunt and I are driving all together. So I really need to clean up the car because it's called the Critter Cruiser for a reason, and it was full of dog hair and just kind of gross. So I spent most of the day Saturday doing that, watering trees, trimming up trees because they really needed to be trimmed before they really started taking off growing and such. So yeah, Saturday was kind of a wash, and then Sunday I spent most of the day just kind of relaxing and then playing WoW with my husband. So yeah, I didn't get much reading, and then this morning I needed to go run into the grocery store. So that's always an adventure. I really do not like going to the grocery store, and there's always something. Today it was some weird man who was like encroaching in my space. But anyway, so this is where we're at right now. We have 2 spots where we can get a bingo. 1 spot, this row here, we're getting really close. We need 2 to complete it. I'm definitely going to go through Wednesday because I did not read much this weekend. I might even add on Thursday. It just depends on how these next couple days go. But then the end of the week, I'm going to be doing laundry and getting chores and such done before our trip, getting everything situated for next week. So the beginning of the week I'm going to focus on reading, and then the end of the week is going to be getting everything ready. So this is where we're at. Let's go ahead and see what we have. As far as Thistlefoot goes, I'm only halfway through. I am really, really enjoying it. It's very kind of disjointed and weird, but I love it. I absolutely love it so far. It's very like folklory, a little bit of magical realism. There's the Yaga siblings have a puppet show, and so that's really interesting. And then kind of the dark aspect with the shadow man that's following them is really cool. So far, I'm really enjoying it, and I'll give my full thoughts next time I check in. Let's go ahead and see what we get. Let's go for this one here. And it looks like 2, which does not help us. So, it helps us a little bit. It's N1, 2. And so that gets us another spot where we're almost at a bingo. So that's this one here, which is new to you author. And then we'll just need this spot here to get an actual bingo. So new to me author. I do have several over there that are new to me authors. So let me go look and I will be right back. All right. I actually have 5 books that the authors are new to me. The first one I'm already going to kick off, and that's The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. I think I'm going to save this for that last week in March. So this one I'm already not going to consider, so that leaves me 4 books. We have Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi again. This is for Tales from Two Trails, and this is the group read, so this would be a really good one to get read. And off my list, we also have How Hard Can It Be by Allison Pearson. This is another one. I'm interested in it. It sounds like funny, but doesn't sound like something I'm absolutely gonna love. It's about, I think she's a 40, almost 50-year-old woman, and she's having to go back to work. She has like 2 teenagers and such, and so yeah, it's just kind of a funny, humorous one, take like on life and middle age and such. I think I'm going to kick that one off as well. We also have A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams, which I'm really interested in. And then the other one is Going Local by Jamie Harrison. This is actually a second one in a series, but I think they're pretty well can be read by themselves. And this one sounds funny, so it's kind of between these 3 right here. I think I'm gonna save A Love Song for Ricky Wilde, even though that works for Buzzword. I think I might actually take this to Vegas, so I'm gonna kick that one off for now. So then it's between these 2, so do I want something more serious, or do I want something a little bit lighter and more humorous? That is the question. I don't know what I'm leaning towards. I think I'm going to go this one. This is the smart route. So I'm going to go ahead and hold off on Going Local for now. Even though that's part of my ABC author title challenge, and so is How Hard Can It Be? That's for G and H, of course. But this one would actually work for H too. But I bought this specifically where part of the challenge is finding books that I wouldn't necessarily otherwise pick up. So yeah, I think this is a smart one to go. It'll knock it off my list. I'll get the Tales from Two Trails prompts done, because I have to have those read by the 25th, and since I'm going to be gone next week, I really probably need to try to get these read this week, any of my Tales from Two Trails books. So I'm going to be reading this. I already read, this one was for Tales from Two Trails as well, and the other one is the Ice Planet Barbarian book, because I know that one has multiple POVs, and so that one will be super easy to read though, and I'm planning on taking that one to Vegas, so that one will get done as well. So I'm going with Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. And this is set in Ghana, 18th century. 2 half-sisters are born into different villages, each unaware of the other. One will marry an English man and lead a life of comfort in a palatial in the palatial rooms of the Cape Coast Castle. The other will be captured in a raid on her village, imprisoned in the very same castle, and sold into slavery. Homegoing follows the parallel paths of these sisters and their descendants through 8 generations, from the Gold Coast to the plantations of Mississippi, from the American Civil War to Jazz Age Harlem. Yaa Gyasi extraordinary novel illuminates slavery's troubled legacy both for those who were taken and those who stayed, and shows how the memory of captivity has been inscribed on the soul of our nation. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for this. And so that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be finishing up Thistlefoot and then jumping right into this one. I'm hoping I'll have these both done by at least mid-afternoon tomorrow, and then I will check back in, give you my thoughts, and choose my next book as well. Alright, it is just after 11 on Wednesday the 13th. I have finished Thistlefoot. I really enjoyed how the author combined like folklore with real historical events. I thought that was done really well. I was a little bit frustrated with this. It should have been a 5-star read for me, but she did try to add in like a romance, and that didn't really work. Like it was just like, oh, I should do this, instead of like felt like it was truly a part of the story. And then there was a whole situation with the one brother and kind of his backstory, that she tried to create mystery around. And so it's like, okay, what happened, why he was, separated from his sister for these years. But then kind of the explanation of what happened just fell really, really short. And again, it didn't really feel like it was part of the story. It felt like, oh, well, I should add this drama in here, sort of thing. I didn't really like the brother's character. I did like the sister, though. And then also kind of that she was trying to create that mystery. And it was very disjointed, which could have worked fine. But because she was adding in these other things, it just made this plot kind of drag a little bit. But overall, I really did enjoy it. I did give it 4 stars. So that one's done. I am still working on Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. I didn't really read much yesterday at all. I just wasn't in the headspace for reading. And so it wasn't until the evening that I really started to read just over 100 pages. And then I read a little bit more this morning. So I have about 125 pages left to go, just under that. I need a break from this. This is very, very heavy. So you're following these 2 sisters, and one ends up married to a white captain at the castle, and the other one ends up being taken as a slave to be sold in that same castle. And then they end up in America, and then the woman that married the white captain, her family is still in Africa. And it's really well done. Like each chapter is focusing on a different descendant. And so it's just like these snapshots in time, but you're following the progress of like the slave trade and such, through these snapshots of this family and their different generations. Really, really enjoy it, but because of that slavery aspect, it is very, very heavy. And so I read a good chunk this morning. I need to run into town, and I think I want to take a break from this, honestly. I'll probably finish it tonight at bed, but right now I need a little bit of a break from it. So I want to go ahead and choose my next read, so when I get back from town, I can just settle in and read. But I'm going to take a little break from this, but this is definitely a 5-star read. I don't know how it's going to end, how it's all going to come together, but it is definitely a 5-star for sure. I just need a little break. So we have several spots we can get a honey. I think there's 4 different spots we can get a honey. So we have this spot here, this spot here. Where's the other ones? Oh, this spot right here as well. Oh no, that one still, we need that one. Never mind. So maybe it's only 3 spots. I thought it was that one. But we also have this one up here. So hopefully this is the pull that will get us a honey, because we're so close yet so far away. And so yeah, let's go ahead and just see what we get from the little honey mug here. Close my eyes and we'll go this one. Maybe? Let's see. So it's a 3, N2, oh, it's falling apart. The N2 3, which gives us a honey. It gives us a honey. Yes. So that is middle grades or children right here. And so that gives us a honey on this row here. So that is perfect. I don't think I have any middle grade or children's left on my TBR. So I'm going to go ahead and see what I can find, and I will be right back. Alright, so I only had one book that fell in the category of middle grade and children's on my TBR, and that's A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. However, I'm not going to read this because this is for the Start and Stop Buddy Read that's put on by Allison at Allison on a Book Break. And so you're reading in small chunks, so it really doesn't work, especially I only have a few. Well, today's Wednesday. I said I was going to go through Wednesday. I'm probably going to go through tomorrow. So I don't want to read this at all. So I'm going to take that one off. And so that I decided to go with a children's picture book because this is one I've been wanting to revisit. It was one of my favorites when I was in elementary school. Every time I went to the library, I pulled out this book, like every time. And I revisited it when I first started my channel, but I haven't since. And so I'm going to be reading Heckedy Peg, which is by Audrey Wood and it's illustrated by Dawn Wood. I love this. It's about this witch, and she turns these 7 children into different foods, and then when their mother comes home, she has to guess which child is which food to kind of break the curse, I guess. And the artwork is just absolutely stunning. Like, it is so beautiful. And this will be really quick, really easy. So I'm going to choose that because it's not adding a big one. It's going to take me less than half an hour to get that done. But because of that, I'm going to go ahead and pull another one. And I don't think I said, I don't know if I did or not, I can't honestly remember. What I get for getting a honey is one of the books from my TBR game books, like that list. I can discount it and still get a reward. So if I don't read one of the books but I read everything else, I can still get a reward for that round. So that's kind of what that honey gives me. And so yeah, that's the reward for me. And so for each one, it's one less book that I have to officially count in order to get a reward for my TBR game TBR. So let's go ahead and pull out another one, and hopefully we can get another honey. That'd be awesome. We're gonna go this one, and it's a 1. Hopefully it's a what? Nah, it's not. So we got another N2, but number 1. Oh no. I don't like this one. I just jinxed myself. So I got N2 longest book on TBR. I don't know why. I mean, at least I helped myself out by getting a really short book. But yeah, let me go see. I mean, I know what the longest one is. Yeah, just let me go see and I'll be right back. Okay. So, out of books I haven't touched yet, the longest one would be Dragonfly in Amber, which is 900 and like something pages. 947 pages. However, I'm giving myself 2 months for this, and I don't want to mess with that because it will break my brain. So this one does not count. The other ones are all around the same page number. However, I am still reading Shogun by James Clavell. This is 1,152 pages, so it is actually longer than Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon. I only have like 400 pages left. I'm gonna make it work though because those 400 they're dense. It's dense. Like small writing is packed in there. The pages are so thin, but I think that is doable over like trying to read that one. And like I said, I want to give myself 2 months for this. So it might be a little cheaty because I have read the majority of this, but technically it is the longest book on my TBR. So it does fulfill the prompt if I'm getting technical on it. And the prompt doesn't say that I have to read all 1,152 pages. So that's what I'm going to go with. So that's kind of what I'm working with for today. And so yeah, I have these 3 books: Heckedy Peg, Homegoing I'll finish a little later, and then Shogun I'll work on for the majority of the day. And hopefully I can knock it out, because that would be really nice, because it's been rolling over since October. So it would be really nice to get it finished, and it is the longest book on my TBR as far as page count goes. And we finally got a Hunny, so that means one of the books on my TBR I do not have to read in order to get one of the reward tokens. And we're a little bit closer, because now on N2 we just need this one, which husband picks any book. We still just need one on the Y column, which is the least anticipated read of the month. And we still have one down here, which is less than 350 pages. So we still have 3 opportunities to get another Hunny. But like I said, I'm running out of time. So if I'm able to finish these today, or into tomorrow morning, I'll definitely choose another book for tomorrow. If I still have a good chunk of something to read tomorrow, this will kind of be the end, and I'll just come back and check in with y'all. So it just depends on how the reads go today. My brain feels a little bit better today. And so, yeah, it just depends. So sometimes I sit down and read, and then my concentration is just out the window. It just varies. So that's where we're at right now. I'm so glad we at least got a Hunny this round, though, because I'm going to clear it for next month. I'm going to clear the board and start over. So I really wanted to at least get one Hunny on this board. And we did that. So that makes me happy. And hopefully I can smash these reads and I can get another Hunny for tomorrow. And then, like I said, my family's coming, and my mom and my aunt and my uncle, and then my mom, my aunt, and I are headed out to Vegas come Monday. So I'll be doing chores Friday and Saturday, getting ready for them to come. But I should be able to read a little bit Friday as well, so it just depends. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like last round, where it's just gonna go until I feel I'm at a good stopping place, I guess. But that's it for right now, and I will check back in with you in just a second. Alright, it is quite a bit later. It is Monday, March 25th. And went to Las Vegas, and then made it home and had to recover a couple days from that. I'm still, like, it'll take me weeks to kind of get set back on track, honestly. But I spent the rest of this morning and afternoon finally finishing Shogun by James Clavell. It's just such a dense book. It was really hard to kind of just push through it, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I finally got this read. I'm a bit disappointed, though. I'm a bit let down. It was such a long book. It was very long-winded. There's definitely scenes that could have been cut out, and it didn't wrap up satisfactorily. Like, it wrapped up in 2 tiny paragraphs. Like, all that build up for nothing. So yeah, I was very, very disappointed with the ending of this one. Like, I'm not happy. The whole kind of love story situation of this book also was a little bit of a letdown. I wish he'd either not included it at all. I see why he did, but I wish he hadn't, or, you know, took away some of the long-windedness and devoted more time. And I wish I understood and knew Japanese culture a little bit better than I do, because some of it came across very much as a man writing women's feelings, which, like, sometimes it just is not well done. It's like, women don't think like that. And there was a few scenes where it was like that, and it's like, but at the same time, I don't understand Japanese culture at all. Like, I know nothing about it, so it's like, how much of this was it's because it's a different culture than mine, and how much of it is because it's a man writing women's feelings. Like, there was one with a side character, it wasn't even the main female character, and it was, oh, her loins were stirring and the thought of this, and it just was like, this is a man writing a female. And that was kind of rough. And like I said, just the whole situation with the main female character and the Barbarian, the Englishman, it either needed to be more developed, or it needed not to be part of it at all. So that was a little bit frustrating. I do still want to watch the little mini series. Like, I'm excited. I keep seeing things pop up for it, and so now that I finally finished this, I'm excited um, to watch that and see my thoughts on that. But yeah, like, it is really well written. It's gonna stick with me. I mean, I read this for what, going on 6 months now, because I began it in October. So there were 2 months I didn't read it all. I didn't read anything of it in December, or I didn't read any of it in, I think, January, maybe February. I can't remember exactly. But there were 2 months I didn't touch it at all. But still, such a long, dense book, and it was definitely a letdown. But I'm gonna give it 4 stars because I do think, it is a good story and it really pulls you in, and having that historical aspect and, the Japanese culture and such was really interesting. And so I did enjoy it overall, but it did kind of let me down. So how many books did I end up reading? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. I'm granted I only read the last 400 pages of this one, but still, 400 pages for a dense book is good. So these are all the books I read for the Hunny bingo game. I did only get one Hunny. I was so close in several spots, but I only ended up getting Hunny right here in this middle row. So that means for this month, one of the books I don't have to read at all, and I can still get a reward. I only read one book while I was in Vegas, so and that was an easy book, and that was Barbarian's Touch by Ruby Dixon. I only read that one in Vegas, so we're on the last week. I honestly don't think I'm going to finish my TBR. I'm going to try my best, but I don't think it's going to happen. So this reward is kind of mute point anyway, because I don't think I'm going to finish my TBR anyway. But I can at least try, and maybe not having one of the books count will help me out. Like, maybe it can be a little bit more strategic, because I think I have 2, 3, 4 that I have to read for my TBR game to get a reward. And one of those, and that's not including, the one that won't count, because then it would be 5. And one of them is the Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon, and that's a long one, and I'm giving myself 2 months, so as long as I start that one counts. So it might be possible if I have a couple of really good reading days. We'll just have to kind of see how it goes. But that's it for this Honey Jar bingo game. Next month, if I do play this, I don't know if I might take April off and then resume this in May. We'll have to see. But I am going to completely reset the board and start completely over. So we'll have to see how many bingos I can get and how many months it will take me to get them. But yeah, that's it for this video. My wrap up will be coming in a couple weeks, so definitely keep an eye out for that. And I'll give, further thoughts on these books I read, and of course the other books I read this month as well. And I actually forgot I read one of the digital books too, so I read one more book. So that's 8 books that I read for this game, this little mini game here. So yeah, not bad at all. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and leave you here. If you've read any of these books, if you're interested in any of these books, definitely let me know down in the comments below. And that's all for me. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.